Uh, Playoffs? Don't talk about it. Playoffs? You kidding me? Playoffs?
Yeah, NBA Straya, how are you going? Hey, you going? Are you good? You should be. Why is that, Jim? TGIF. Am I right? That's right, it's a Friday. We don't even have any hoops today. So, we can get on the tins early. You've got my permission to just down tools, go get to the pub, and start your weekend early. That's right, this is NBA Straya. It is Friday, April 17 all day. I'm your host, James Clements, here in Larry Armour Studios, and today we're giving away our awards. Oh, isn't that nice? Does it matter, Jim? Do you actually have a vote? No, because, I don't know, haters gonna hate. As the Vice President of Common Sense, I mean, I definitely should have an actual NBA awards ballot. But here we are. I just calls it as I sees it. That's what we do. So we're going to do our awards very quickly, but then we'll also set you up for tomorrow's 8-seed play-in games, which is awesome. And then give a pick and prediction for the actual playoff series that all start on Sunday. Sunday and Monday is when the first round kicks off. That's going to be awesome. So we're going to go through each and every single one of the East-West playoff series and give a bit of it. We're going to ask 3 big questions for each series and give a prediction at the end of it. So that'll be fun, I guess. It bloody well better be. So without further ado, episode 1383, 1383 of NBA Straya. Let's go!
This is Josh Giddey.
G'day, this is Andrew Gaze.
This is Jack White.
This is Joe Ingles.
This is Dyson Daniels.
This is Chris Anstey.
This is Matthew Delvedova.
This is Shane Hill.
You're listening to NBA Australia.
And you're listening to NBA Australia.
And you're listening to NBA Straya.
You're listening to NBA Australia.
And you're listening to NBA Straya.
You're listening to NBA Australia.
And you're listening and watching NBA Straya.
This is NBA Australia. Let's do it.
Watch out for the shark attack.
Oh, you better watch out for the legal attack, because that's where we start today's... Oh, is it a whip around? Is it, Jim? Yes, of course, it's the daily whip around. That's how we start every show here at NBA Australia. I keep telling you. Anyway, Luka Doncic and Cade Cunningham are eligible for your end of season awards. Ant-Man isn't. Which I think is funny. They're like, Luka, yes, you had a kid. You went to Slovenia to see your now, I don't know, not together with partner. But, you know, baby, that's good. Yes, you also got injured. Yes, you also got suspended. But we'll cut you a bit of slack. Same goes for you, Cade. You seem like a good dude. Ant-Man, you get out of here. What are you going to do? Go knock up some other bird? Get out of here. Go on, get. Ant-Man's like, oh. Funny, though. So... the crazy part is, I said this on yesterday's show, right? The play-in games shouldn't colour your eventual award ballots. But because Luka and Cade, this is all at arbitration, and people hadn't actually gotten their award ballots set out yet, guess what? The play-in is probably going to colour their awarding, right? So here we are. It's a bit of a strange one. Anyway, but Luka and Cade... get their sort of appeals upheld. Cade hit 63 games and he had a collapsed lung, you might remember, right? So he misses a bunch of games. Luka obviously misses, the couple of games for the birth of his daughter, which is kind of neat. Also missed a bunch of other games. But look, the 65-game rule is a rule. And if you're going to appeal it because of extenuating circumstances, that's fine. But wow. You know what the entire process should have been? Luka going, hey, look, I went away for the birth of my kid. Can you just roll me over into it? And they go, yeah, all right, that's no worries. Same thing with Cade Cunningham. It's like, did you play to this degree, this amount of games? And then you had a collapsed lung. Yeah, that is a bit crappy and unlucky. You're right. And then Ant-Man's like, what about me? It's like, get out of here, you. I'm sick of you. So, yeah, sucked in. This is what happens when you're a bit of a turd bag. But Anyway, so there you go. They are now eligible for your end of season awards, which actually sort of threw me for a little bit of a loop because I had my MVP, all NBA stuff all written out. And then I'm like, wait, I've got to cram Luca and Kate in here now. What are we doing, man? What are we bloody doing? So, there's not a giant amount of other news. I don't know. You did have, what is it? Damon Jones is like out there probably expecting to plead guilty to all of that gambling stuff. That actually hits in about a week and a half. So, yeah, it's not great for him, I guess. And there's news about Nuggets and the Pacers playing in Mexico City next year. So it'd be nice if we got another actual game down here in Australia, but not holding my breath. Right. I think, was that it in terms of the news? Let's just really quickly check. I have been out all morning with the squid. Yeah, I think it's all good. Apparently, Ja Morant has informed everybody that he's done playing for the Grizzlies. That's pretty funny. That's awesome. Yeah. Good luck to whoever gets Ja Morant. The funniest thing is when he ends up on Brooklyn, and I'm just like, oh, come on, man. What are we doing? All right. Let's go. Let's do some NBA End of Season Awards. Ba 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 da da. Who is your MVP this year, Jim? Well, I don't know. The thing is, you can go with whoever you want. SGA's just had one of the single greatest seasons by a guard ever. Jokic became the first player to ever lead the league in rebounds and assists and averaged a triple-double. He averaged 28 points a game as well. That's just taking the piss. Wemby is an alien from space who is the most disruptive defensive player we've seen in a jillion years. Right? And I think when it comes to this sort of year, you can go, wow, well, look, the Nuggets won 10 less games than like OKC. Well, that tells me that OKC's got a better team than Jokic. Right? Aaron Gordon misses a bunch of the season. Cam Johnson's a shell of himself. All their role players get hurt. And Jokic averaged 28, bloody was it 12 and 10? Like, that's just absurd gear. Absolutely absurd stuff. So you get this moment of like, well, Jokic, all he did was 27.7 points, 12.9 rebounds, 10.7 assists, shot 57% from the floor, 38% from three. Bloody hell. Right? 34 triple-doubles. Just an insane season. SGA averaged 31.1 points a game, 4.3 rebounds, 6.6 assists, sure, and only 2.2 turnovers. Amazing stuff. Shot 55% from the floor as a guard. Incredible gear. Wemby, 25 points a game, 11.5 rebounds, 3 blocks, just taking the piss. The thing is, the SGA stands, the Jokic stands, the Wemby stands. You know what I fucking hate? Standing a player. Do you know how weird that is? Oh, my guy's better than your guy because of these stats. And then the other bloke is like, but my guy's better than your guy because of these. Shut up, nerds. All I want to know is I'm going to look back in 5 years and go, what happened in 2026, Jim? Wemby emerged. SGA had that insane year. Oh, and that's right. Nikola Jokic fucking averaged a triple-double and led the league in rebounds and assists. Right? So I'm just at the point, I'm like, fuck it. Jokic 1, SGA 2, Wemby 3, Luka 4, Jaylen Brown 5. To the point where Jaylen Brown might actually have jumped ahead of Luka, but Luka was just still played 64 games and averaged a 33.5, led the league in scoring, 33.5 points a game, 7.7 rebounds, 8.3 assists. Jesus, that's good. And Jaylen Brown, look, he had a great year, 28.7 points, 6.9 rebounds, 5 assists, shot 47% from the floor, 0.1% better than Luka from the floor, BT dubs. 3.6 turnovers though for JB, classic. 4 turnovers for Luka, but that's on 8 assists versus 4. So I feel like Jaylen Brown probably had the better overall season. Luka was kind of dog shit for large chunks, but was still putting up numbers. then got super fucking awesome there for a bit. Yeah, fuck it. I'm going to put Jaylen Brown 4, Luka 5, Cade 6. I think he just ends up what he did in his 64 games, 24 points a game, 9.9 assists, 5.5 rebounds, 46% shooting, leading the Pistons, being the only real big offensive threat that the Pistons kind of had. Yes, Jalen Duren's out there getting a 20 and 10. That's cool. But Cade was the stir with the straw that stirred the drink. Remember, the straw that stirred the drink, the stir that strawed the drink. That's what it's about. For a 1-seed Detroit team that no one fucking expected. So Cade was up there in my top 5 all season. He just ends up missing probably too many games. And so I've got him after Luka. I then probably have Donnie Mitchell. He was pretty good. Kawhi was right up there as well, which is pretty crazy to think about. But yeah, Jalen Brunson probably ends there. But anyway, Jokic, SGA, Wemby, Jaylen Brown, Luka. My top 5 for MVP. So who's on your All-NBA first team then, Jim? Well, Jokic, SGA, Wemby, Jaylen Brown, and Luka. It's pretty fucking simple. The second team gets a little bit more squirrely. Cade, Kawhi, Donnie Mitchell, Jalen Brunson, and Jalen Duren. My second team, All-NBA. Cade was awesome. I already made that case. Brunson was fantastic for this Knicks team. 74 games, 26 points a game, 6.8 assists, 46.7% from the floor. The rest of the team's a fucking basket case without him, right? Holy shit. So, yeah, I'm going to go Jalen Brunson on All-NBA second team. Donnie Mitchell, weapon, 28 points a game, 4.5 rebounds, 5.5 assists, crushed it. Played 70 games, did a good job, enjoyed him. Kawhi had his best scoring season ever, 27.9 points, 6.5 rebounds, 3.6 assists, weapon on defense, we get it. And Jalen Duren, 20 and 10 dude, absolutely staunch, best defense going, absolute stud, love him. Makes sense. And All-NBA third team, I'll go Jamal Murray, Jamal Murray, best year of his career. Stephon Castle, the second best player, with all due respect to De'Aaron Fox, on that Spurs team. Absolutely awesome Castle. Loved his defense. And if you listen to the NBA Supercoach show that we did all this year, where Jim does Supercoach, I fucking loved Castle. And every time I'd get him in the team, he'd sort of just have like these half-ish kind of like, oh, that was a really good game that he played, but his stats didn't quite back it up. Castle was fucking fantastic all year. Denny Avdia comes in as well in the All-NBA third team. Incredible season for Denny. 14th overall in scoring. That's a 24, 6.9, 6.7 season. He was so fucking good. He was awesome. Can't wait to see that game tomorrow. Kevin Durant, obviously on All-NBA third team as well. Awesome year for KD. He's 400 years old and he's still out there doing what he does. It's just a bit silly at this point. 26 points a game, 5.5 rebounds, 4.8 assists. He's 47 years old. Let the man have a fucking rest, or just don't let him have his phone. Just... That's enough screen time for you, Kevin. Now go play basketball. And the All-NBA third team center, Chet Holmgren. People have got a lot of fucking Chet vibes. And I'm like, yeah, he had a pretty good season. He didn't score 30 points in a single game until the very end of the season when they fucking were desperate for scoring at big chunks of the season, OKC. But he was still awesome defensively, the absolute anchor to what they're doing. So Chet comes in on the All-NBA third team. Who's your rookie of the year? Is it Connie Nips? Is it Cooper Flagg, Jim? And I'll tell you what, not much really separates the two, does it? Awesome season for both of them. And I think if you sort of like just break down the obvious sort of simple stat stuff, and I think... it's a weird sort of set of cases, right? Cooper Flagg did more with less. 21 points a game, 6.7 rebounds, 4.5 assists, shot 47% from the floor, only 29.5% from three, but you get that on the big jobs. The thing was, he was the focal point for an entire team. All right, Connie Nips averaged 18.5 points, 5.3 rebounds, 3.4 assists. So the counting stats aren't quite there, but obviously hit 1 million threes. Led the league in made threes. But there's a reason Connie Nips was able to lead the league in made threes. He was the fourth option a lot of the time. Maybe the third option. Sometimes the second option on a Hornets team that is completely, like, the defense is 100% focused on, fuck, we're going to stop LaMelo Ball. Oh, Connie Nips is in the corner. Yeah, it's the rookie. Oh, shit, he's hitting a lot of threes. His defense was very good. I get it. It was just super additive. But it's not additive rookie of the year. Cooper Flagg did fucking everything for that Mavs team. And yes, they were shit. But this is what happens. We don't ding fucking Wemby winning rookie of the year when his team was shit when he got added to them. Dallas was the exact same. I love Cooper Flagg. I also don't want to look back and go, oh, well, Colin Knippel hit a lot of threes in that year. It's like, was he the number one on his team? No. And he's not fucking rookie of the year. I'm going to go Cooper Flagg, Connie Nips. VJ Edgecombe was absolutely fucking awesome this season. Started off with a bang, bit of a lull, but then was really, really, really solid the rest of the way. And next up, I think we're going to sort of go, really simply, you can go Derek Queen, Jeremiah Zero Fears. You can go Ace Bailey, Harper. Like, Dylan Harper was awesome. And I think sort of, again, if you put Dylan Harper on like a shit team and not on the Spurs, he'd be awesome. He'd be putting up fucking numbers for days. So I probably want to go Derek Queen. I think he did a lot of good shit all season in a pretty tough situation, right? He averaged 11.7 points a game, 7.1 rebounds, 3.7 assists. He's right there. Jeremiah Zero Fears ends up averaging over 14 points a game. Not wildly efficient at 43.4%, but still, and he and Ace Bailey. So I'll probably go Queen, Harper, Ace Bailey, we'll go Jeremiah Fears, Maxi Reno, Cedric Coward. There's your rookies. I think just the Cooper Flagg thing, very simply, the numbers are fucking through the roof. 21, 6.5, and 4.5 versus 18.5, 5.3, 3.4 for Con. Con hits a million threes, we get it. But come on, your entire defense isn't fucking just focused on Con Knippel. Cooper Flagg, rookie of the year. Defensive player of the year, yeah. Wemby, that was the easiest one. It really was. And then, look, Wemby, Chet, Amen Thompson, Dyson, Draymond, Rudy. It's sort of like a big mix. Dyson probably gets dinged a bit this year. I think he didn't have the steals numbers this year. I don't think he took a step back. I think it was just more that there was sort of more on his shoulders defensively for this Hawks team. He was asked to do a bit more, and he wasn't out there jumping fucking passing lanes and getting quite as many steals per game. So, bit of a weird year for our man Dice, but by the same token, like, he was still very, very, very good. And I still kind of want to have him top 5. But I don't know, there's a lot of good players who are very, 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 like Orsar Thompson, Amen Thompson, Chet, Draymond, Rudy Gobert, Kawhi, Kaysen Wallace. Like, yeah, you can just fucking keep throwing names out there. The thing is, I think Dyson still ends up, second overall in terms of, like, your steals per game. He still averaged 2 steals a game. Like, it's not like he was shit house. Yeah, there you go. He tied it with Orsar Thompson. Boom. So I think Orsar, Amen, and this is a long-held belief of mine as well. I think we should have perimeter defender and big man defender because I think it's completely 2 different fucking things. Because what Wemby does, what Chet does, what Rudy does, what even Draymond does is very different to what Amen, Orsar, and Dyson do. So let's fucking do that. Let's split it up into perimeter defender of the year. We'll probably go Orsar, and then probably Amen, then Dyson. You could probably throw Kaysen Wallace in there after that. And then OG, probably at 5. He was fan-fucking-tastic all this year as well. Asked to do a lot, I'll tell you what. And then the big men, I mean, you could go very easily. Wemby, Chet, Rudy, Draymond, Jalen Duren. Boom, you got 5. So how's that? Does that sound good? Good. Great. Most improved player of the year. Yeah. This is Nicky Alexander-Walker. And that's how it's going to go. Right. I think the 25-26 most improved player, you probably go... There's like a case here, weirdly, to be made for Jaylen Brown. I'm not going to make that case. Nicky Alexander-Walker, amazing. He gets it for me. Denny Avdia comes in second. Incredible season for him. Jalen Johnson at 3. Absolutely fucking awesome shit from him. I love that. And I don't know, outside of that, someone like Jalen Tyson on the Cavs. Awesome all year. Maybe even like, I don't know, like you could probably throw Castle on there. You could throw Colin Gillespie, but that's where it is. Nick Alexander-Walker for me. As long as you got Denny and Jalen Johnson in there as well, thumbs up. Josh Giddey was on a bit of a trajectory for this, but that fucking injury in January really fucking threw his season for a bit of a loop. And the fact that the Bulls sucked ass didn't help either. Coach of the year. Oh, bro, let's go fucking watch The Town Gym. I fucking love this movie, bro. It is the fucking best movie I've ever seen in my life. I watch it 4 times a fucking week, bro. And I also do jiu-jitsu. I'll get choked out, man. I fucking love getting choked out. It's the best vibe in the world, bro. You get choked out, you're like, this is how I lose. Now I know how to lose. I'm Joey Muzz. I can do anything. Joey Muzz took a team that didn't have its best player, in Jason Tatum, went, right, we just also lost Al Horford, the Extreme Zinger Meal. Drew Holiday, and still ended up as the 2 seed in the East. Not bad, bro, not bad. So I've got him ahead of JB Bickerstaff. Because Muzz, I think... the dearth of talent on that team this year, but the way they were coached and the way they executed was fucking second to none. So I love Joey Muzz for this. Ahead of Bickerstaff, ahead of Mark Daigneault, ahead of Tiago Splitter, and ahead of Mitch Johnson. Tiago Splitter, absolute chaos, right? He fucking gets them into the playoffs. That's awesome. Remember how Chauncey Billups was arrested at the start of the season? And then Tiago just takes over. He's like, yeah, it's fine. I'm Tiago Splitter. Amazing stuff. Amazing stuff. And finally, 6th man of the year. Yeah. It's kind of a weird one. I think it's probably Keldon Johnson. Reed Shepherd for Houston is right there as well. Jaime Jaquez for Miami, sure. Naz Reid had a bit of a strange, weird down year. And Beef Stew. I love Beef Stew. He is an absolute weapon. I don't know if he played enough games, but I also do not care. All right, let's take a quick break. There's all of it. I don't want to do defensive first teams and fucking rookie teams. I've already listed off a bunch of them. And at the end of the actual full season, we'll do the NBA Straya Awards, which is the cool guy awards, where it's like cool things that I think are funny. Draymond has already wrapped up Dickhead of the Year for the minute. But Goga, that bastard Goga Bastardazde, knocking out Jock Landale for the entire first round, seemingly. He will be reevaluated in 2 weeks. Fuck Goga. Absolute massive dickhead vibes. All right, quick break. Come back with the game setups and the playoff series previews right after this.
This is Cam Glidden.
This is Anthony Drimmick.
This is Mitch McCarron.
This is Jason Kadee.
This is Darryl McDonald.
Hey guys, this is Hugh Greenwood.
Yo, what's going on? This is Illy.
This is Mark Worthington, or commonly known as Wortho, and you're listening to NBA Straya.
You listen to NBA Straya.
And you're listening to NBA Straya.
And you're listening to NBA
And you're listening to
Straya.
NBA Straya.
You're listening to NBA Straya.
And you're listening to NBA Straya.
You're listening to NBA Straya.
All right. Are you ready? These play-in and playoff previews are brought to you by you. That's right. Go check out buymeacoffee.com/NBA Australia. Support the show. It's basically you buying me a coffee or a beer once a month. And you get to join the Dead Set Legends Club, which means you get exclusive content that no one else gets. It's awesome. It's extra shows. It's extra fun shit that I just throw up there. Check it out. buymeacoffee.com/NBA Australia. Right, let's set you up for these 8 seed play-in games tomorrow. So we've got these 2 games, which is very, very fun. 9:30 Saturday morning Eastern Standard Time and 12 p.m. Saturday. Charlotte, Orlando. You got 2 teams that have had very different years. And that is writ large in their respective rankings since January 1st. Charlotte has the best offensive rating in the NBA. Orlando has the 18th. They have the 5th best defensive rating, Charlotte. Orlando has the 13th. There's coaching turmoil just all over around Orlando and Jamal Mosley. There's probably trade chatter getting through to Paolo or Franz Wagner now as well. Charlotte won the season series 3-1 pretty handily too. But again, I don't know, these regular season matchups don't really scream at me about, what matters. They kicked the shit out of them, did the Hornets as well in the 3 wins. And the one loss was the end of October, right? All the wins where they kicked the crap out of them came after Christmas, which is when Charlotte sort of started getting their shit together. As mentioned, since Jan 1, 1st in offense, 5th in defense. So what does this all mean? Essentially, does Orlando's fucking defense have any hope in slowing down this insane Charlotte offense that did sputter? We saw it sputter against Miami, but they still pulled it out. So 2 of 22 shooting from downtown for your man Connie Nips and LaMelo Ball, the clown. Will they do that again? Not likely. Orlando's 3-point defense, I expect Charlotte to be able to hit the threes that they've been hitting all season. You have some pretty interesting matchups, but it feels like Franz Wagner is still just a bit hobbled. You got Franz versus Brandon Spindles Miller. You've got Paolo up against, between Connie Nips, Spindles Miller. You've got Moose in the middle up against Wandale. And importantly, you got Jalen Suggs up against LaMelo Ball. Desmond Bane's running around doing his shit. I feel like the size of this Hornets team is something we don't probably talk about enough. LaMelo is a really fucking big point guard. Next to him, they'll have Connie Nips, they'll have Spindles Miller, and they'll have Miles Bridges, that piece of shit. And they're all just fucking big dudes. And then you got Moose. You got Kobe White coming in off the bench for instant hit offense. Who would trade him? You'd have to be a stupid franchise to do that. And I feel like Orlando is the similar sort of thing, apart from Desmond Bane, who's the little fella. But Suggs is pretty big as your sort of primary point guard defender, your big sort of guard defender. Franz and Paolo, obviously, big fucking dudes. The problem is they're that big, they kind of don't play well together. And then you got Wendell, who's a slightly undersized center, but up against Moose. Probably won't matter too much. But I think I just don't trust this Orlando team enough. And I said this the other day, right? This is going into that game against Philly. This is the last time I trust you, Orlando. So I can't trust them. I have to take Charlotte -3.5 on the road in Orlando. Just because I trust their offense enough. I think LaMelo is a fucking moron. And as I said the other day, in his brain, I'm pretty sure it's just like a Monster Energy drink with cocaine being tipped into it, like one of the fucking Mentos challenges, right? That's his entire interior discourse is just white noise. So yeah, here we are. So I think I'm going to take Charlotte. I'm going to take their offense over that horrible fucking Orlando offense. There is always just going to be that question. Can Suggs just shut down LaMelo? I mean, has he done it before, Jim? Just not really. LaMelo had 26-5 last time they kicked the shit out of him, and that game wasn't even that close, right? That was window dressing at the end of it. So I'm going to take Charlotte. And mostly, yes, I want to see Charlotte take on Detroit in the playoffs because I think that'd be fucking awesome. And then the other game, we've got Golden State at the Suns. So in the same sort of similar fashion as we just sort of went through Charlotte, Orlando, all those sort of key matchups, like LaMelo and Suggs, Bane up against Connie Nips, Spindles Miller up against Franz Wagner, Bridges versus Paolo, and Moose versus Wendell, Kobe White coming off the bench versus maybe Anthony Black coming off the bench for Orlando. And this is why I trust Charlotte. I think on the balance of everything, they've got the better team, at least a team that knows what it's doing. Orlando never looks like it knows what it's fucking doing. Golden State versus Phoenix is a similar sort of thing, right? Where you look at it and go, the Warriors know what they want to do almost at all times. The Suns, it still feels like cacophonous. And a lot of that is Dylan Brooks, and the cacophony might be him just hitting a fucking lot of shots. They're 25-16 at home this year, the Suns. That is a really, and flip side, randomly, 15 and 26 for the Warriors away. The Suns crowd is awesome. The matchups are really interesting. You got Booker, Jalen Green, and Dylan Brooks for this Suns team, right? You got 3 guards essentially, because Dylan Brooks might be listed as a small forward, whatever, but he's a perimeter dude. He's not massive. But the thing is, you can kind of maybe get away with that a little bit against this Warriors team, because if you just sort of think about the Warriors and who they're actually rolling out there now, it's not the world's most, like, especially you throw back to when they had Clay. And like Clay allowed you to play so many different fucking like lineups because he was big. He's a big, and he could guard a bunch of different dudes. Now it's Steph, Pods / Gary Payton II, Gui Santos, bit of size to him, Draymond, and the extreme Zinger Meal.
Extreme Zinger Meal.
So when you got the Zinger versus like Mark Williams, and you've got Draymond, who can go a little bit hammer and tongs against whoever you're going to start at your sort of power forward-ish position if you're the Phoenix Suns. Whether that be you playing Jordan Goodwin in there as well next to Brooks, or like Grayson Allen coming in, Royce O'Neal. Again, on balance, I kind of think the Booker, Steph, Jalen Green, Pods, Dylan Brooks, Gui Santos, but the Zinger Mark Williams, that's a clear tick for a supercharged Zinger burger.
Supercharged Zinger burger.
Looked really good at that in that game yesterday. Golden State won this season series 3-1 as well. They haven't played since February 6th though, so again, don't read too much into that. I'm going to take Golden State plus 3.5 because I trust Steve Kerr. I trust the heart of a champion. Steph Curry, I think he's got one more big ride in him as well. He was so fucking good in that second half yesterday that it was absurd. And look, the Suns, I think the Dylan Brooks aspect of this can take them, like get them in a game, and can also completely take them out of a game. When you got Dylan Brooks and Draymond Green in the same game, it's Alien versus Predator. No matter who wins, we lose, right? So they'll bark at each other. There'll be a lot of shit talk. I think Golden State probably is more adept at like just dealing with that. So I'm going to go with Golden State, especially with the plus 3.5, because I can see the Suns winning this game, but in a fucking super close one. Like similar to maybe Miami-Charlotte, where it just gets a bit squirrely and they just hold on. I'll take the Warriors plus 3.5. I think they win. So there you go. Right. With all that in mind, on Sunday, what happens, Jim? Playoffs. I'm talking about playoffs? You kidding me? Playoffs. That's right. Playoffs start on Sunday. So this is going to be awesome. So obviously on Sunday we get a bunch of the, the 3, 6, 4, 5 matchups, because we know what those teams are. And obviously we didn't know what the 7, 8 seeds and therefore what the 1, 8, 2, 7 matchups were going to be. So they're all going to be on Monday. So on Sunday we have East 3, 6 and East 4, 5, West 3, 6, West 4, 5, which is very fun because all 4 of those series are really interesting. You start 3 a.m. Sunday, Jesus, which is why we're doing this show now to set you up for it. You got a 5:30 start for Minnesota, Denver, 8 a.m. for Atlanta, New York, and then 10:30 a.m. for Houston, Lakers. And then Monday, you've got Philly, Boston, 3, whoever OKC plays at 5:30, 8:30 for the Detroit game, and San Antonio, Portland at 11. So there you go. So there's a lot going on there. That said, let's go through each of the East and West playoff series, give out some predictions, and then we'll look ahead to Sunday's games at the end of it. So, playoff series preview. Put a bit of backing music there. Let's start at the East. 1-8, Detroit versus whoever. Charlotte versus Orlando. 3 big questions for each series. How many fights will we get if it's Charlotte? Over under 4.5? Yeah. You can't tell me that Charlotte won't get into like a bit of a brouhaha with Detroit. If this series goes 6, 5 fights. Because we're thinking about 2 sort of like scrums in a game, and then you kind of only need one more game where there's 2 scrums and then one other little scrum somewhere else, and you've gone over. So I think that would be awesome. But I guess if Charlotte is the opponent, the big question will be if Charlotte's offense can overpower the Detroit defense 4 times out of 7 games. Fascinating question. Love that. Can they outmuscle? Can they outwork? Can they outshoot? Can they outplay Detroit? Maybe. Basically the question for Charlotte would be, can Charlotte's offense actually sing versus the Pistons D? I don't know if they can. Can you hit threes when it matters is the big question for this young Charlotte team too. Or will they just be ground into dust by Detroit? So it's O versus D vibe. If it is Orlando, can Orlando's just talent, like, again, go hammer and can they find that defensive identity again against Detroit and really try to throw it back in their face, grind them into dust, and like win a couple of rock fights? I don't think they'll be able to, but that'd be what it all comes down to, right? That defense being able to do anything. And then if Paolo can just rise up and actually be the best player in a playoff series. Can he? But the really big one, it doesn't matter who they play, is simply how healthy is Cade? And can he keep up? Right? If it's Charlotte running back and forth, having a crack with LaMelo, how's he feeling? Is he okay? If he is, Detroit will roll. And if he's not, will he be able to do enough just to sort of keep them in the right path that the rest of those guys on Detroit can get them pointing in the right direction and actually eke out 4 wins in 7 games? So that's the big question for Detroit. And then if that is the sort of fulcrum of your entire thing that they do, which it has been, Dennis Jenkins coming in off the bench to sort of run that second unit up against Charlotte or Orlando's defense. I feel pretty good about that. He's been awesome. So I think so much of that is about whether or not Cade and the Pistons, like, we know that their defense is going to be great. Can the offense do enough? And can he actually sort of orchestrate it all properly? I think he can. And if they play Charlotte, I still have Detroit winning that series, but I think it goes 6 or 7, and I'm going to say, fuck it, let's go 7. If it's Orlando, I think Detroit sort of grind them into the dirt, but I still kind of think it goes 6 because I feel like if Orlando get in there, that's the sort of team where it's just like, it's going to be a fucking slog, and there might be just a couple of games that Orlando just pull one out of their ass, and I still think Detroit win 4-2. So there you go. Detroit versus Charlotte, 4-3. Detroit versus Orlando, 4-2. Nice. 2-7 series in the East. Boston versus Philly. Philly. As I said, what is this, the 23rd time these two teams have met? The most ever in the NBA. The big question, obviously, is do we see the big fella? Is Joel Embiid going to get out there at all during this series? The answer is probably not. But if he does, how do Boston deal with that? Probably not great. He is very big. And they've got Neemias Queta, who's been very good all season. You got Luka Garza. You got 12 fouls to throw at Embiid, I guess. But come on, man. If Embiid comes back, he's coming back from a fucking appendectomy. I just can't see it. And even if he does come back somehow, miraculously, he's going to be so fucking cooked that I don't know if he swings it either way, right? So this is Boston, second offense, fourth defense. Just unbelievable team all season. Joey Muzz has been incredible. And you sort of think about the guards for Boston, right? Derek White, Peyton Pritchard, better have my money. Pritchard. Also Jaylen Brown. You've really got it, like, so much of what Philly is going to be doing. Can Maxey and Paul George match it with Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum to a degree, Derek White? And you'd sort of feel okay if they had Embiid there. You're like, shit, I don't mind this sort of 3-man sort of rotation up against this Boston team. But with only Maxey and Paul George, it feels like a little bit easier for Boston just to sort of key in on that. It's a bit of a weird one because Boston gives up the most threes in the NBA on purpose, right? For the to seal off the paint. Philly don't take a giant amount of threes. The thing is they give up a shit ton as well. Same as Boston. And Boston are very fucking happy to take it. They take the 4th most in the NBA. They hit a fuck ton of them. You know that. We know that. So, look, a couple of these games might swing on how well the Celtics are shooting. But by the same token, I kind of think they'll be fine and they'll hit enough because I'm not really afraid of that Philly defense that much. You got Maxey and VJ. Can they match it with the Boston guards is like the big question, I guess, for Philly. Maxey's been unreal, but you still have Derek White out there. You got Pritchard's going to work hard. You've got Jaylen Brown. I think Boston probably has the edge there. And I guess the other big one, literally for just Philly's sort of, I don't know, mental health is How is PEDP going to go? He wasn't bad in that playing game, 16 and 6, whatever it was, on 16 shots. But he's an interesting matchup as well. You've got Tatum out there. PEDP. Is he going to guard? Is he going to guard Tatum? What did Boston get from Tatum is their big question. But PEDP, can he give us a little bit of that playoff Paul, sort of the non-shit version? Can he go full PED playoff P? Right? Can he do that? I don't know if he can. I think Boston defensively is going to be a monster, and I think it's going to be Boston 4-1. Right? Even if Maxey goes off his head, I think between Jaylen Brown, Tatum, Derek White, they will definitely lose again. If Philly win the first game, it's going to be fucking hilarious, but then I still think Boston could rattle off 4 wins. I just trust the system of Boston and what they've proven to us time and time and time again all season. Defensively, the bench knows exactly what they're meant to be doing. It's just a team that knows what it is. It knows we're going to take some threes, we're going to play awesome defense, we're going to be all moving on a fucking string. And Philly's just a little bit more chaos ball. Hey, look, it's PEDP. I'm Maxey. Whoa. And you're like, all right. So let's go. We'll go Boston 4-1. 3-6, Knicks Atlanta. You beauty. How good is this game and this series? You got Dyson Daniels, no Jock Landale. That sucks. But that's kind of the big one, I reckon. Jalen Brunson up against this Atlanta guard cadre, right? You've got Dyson Daniels, Nicky Alexander-Walker, CJ McCollum. It sort of means you can throw, like, you're going to have to make Brunson either work on offense or work on defense, depending on sort of who's out there. And I think that's a pretty good recipe to throw the Knicks off a little bit. Like, unless Josh Hart sort of comes to the rescue and does some cool Josh Hart shit, like, we know that it's a lot to put on Brunson's shoulders. But when you got Dyson out there, cool, you got a pretty good defender who's a bit bigger than him. If McCollum's out there, Nick Alexander-Walker, they're going to have to make Brunson defend like one of those two guys. If Bridges takes the other one, maybe they throw OG somewhere. But if you're throwing OG somewhere that isn't Jalen Johnson's going to be licking his lips going, fucking yes, mate. So Brunson, how he deals with the Atlanta guards is going to be fascinating. Big question for me. The other one is obviously Cat versus the Atlanta Bigs. Onyeka Okongwu and co. What are they going to do, Jim? I don't know. This is a fucking big question. Like, if Cat can dominate and sort of get out there on the perimeter, do his thing, then get inside a little bit. You've got Okongwu, you've got Mo Gay. You don't have Jock anymore, at least for this series, because of that Goga bastard Batazde. So it's a lot of Okongwu, Jalen Johnson, Mo Gay. Cat should probably be okay and have an okay series, but Okongwu can make you work, and he can also now hit threes, which is crazy. But Cat versus the Atlanta Bigs, Mitch Robinson coming in, the other Mitch Robinson coming in and causing a bit of havoc too. Rebounding becomes a pretty big one. I think the Knicks are the 7th best rebounding team in the NBA. Atlanta's 17th, so it's a little bit of a difference, right? So Knicks, I think they probably on balance have a bit of a look. If Cat can just do his thing and be very, very good, combined with Mitch Robinson, if he stays healthy, they should be fine. But it's a big question. And then obviously on the perimeter, do we get a Jalen Johnson, look at me, I'm a superstar now show? Do we? Trae Young did it, remember? In that fucking Eastern Conference Finals run, he goes into MSG, starts slaying dragons. Can Jalen Johnson do the same thing? Can't wait to find out. But then he's going up against OG Anunoby, Mikal Bridges, this defense of the Knicks that you think that now it's actually into the playoffs. They're going to really lock in. So I don't know. Anyway, I think this is going to be an awesome series. I love this one so much. I'm going to say Knicks 4-3. I think we go 7. I think the Hawks are sneakily better than we all realize. Like, I think we all realize that the Hawks have been good. They've been doing this pretty fucking crazy good run now for 2 months. The Knicks, I think they can be got. So, yeah, let's go 7. I think I'll take the Knicks just to eke it out, though. And then 4-5 in the East. Cleveland versus Toronto. Donnie Mitchell and James Harden up against Emmanuel Quickley, Scotty Barnes, RJ Barrett. Oh, boy. That's the sort of big one here, too. What can Scotty Barnes do on offense to really just, and well, we know that he's an awesome defender. Is he going to check Harden? And defensively, you see RJ, will he go to Donnie Mitchell? They've got the size. This one's a really strange mix. Because Cleveland, they're happy to shoot threes. They're fourth in like effective field goal percentage overall. Toronto's 16th. They're ninth of the Cavs in taking 3-point, how many of their shots are three-pointers versus 24th for Toronto. And they're 13th in made threes percentage-wise versus 21 for Toronto. So Toronto don't take as many threes and they don't hit as many. And Cleveland are going to have the big dudes, Allen and Mobley. You got Scotty Barnes and Teenage Mutant Yucca Purtle on the other side. Calamari Boyle. It's going to be a real interesting mishmash of styles, and basically styles make fights, and these are two very different teams. This could be an absolute out-and-out slog, and just like 1-2 Costa Zoo, just like throwing haymakers at each other. And I kind of think this is going to keep, we know that Toronto don't beat good teams, right? That's just what they've done all season. They're like, oh, wait, are you a good team? Yeah, no, we can't win that one. And if you sort of go back through they beat the Heat those last two games basically two of their last three games of the season to give themselves a shot to, jump up into this 5 seed. So good on them. But apart from that, beating somebody ranked above them, they beat the Pistons and they beat the Suns. And other than that, you have to go a long way back to find a time when they beat a team that's better than them. So I'm going to say Cleveland 4-3 in this one, but the big questions are going to be Donnie Mitchell, James Harden. How does that offense work up against this Toronto defense and the sheer size of RJ, Scoob, Spindles, Ingram, and co on the perimeter? But then on the flip side, the rebounding, it's 11th versus 25th in terms of Cleveland's rebounding and Toronto. So can Mobley and Allen control the boards and control the style of play, the pace of play that Cleveland want to do? And if they can, I think they'll get them. But if Toronto's offense can just sort of hang, as I said, the offense is a very different one to Cleveland's. I think we'll see a pretty topsy-turvy series. I'm going to go Cleveland. I think this could go 7 as well. Let's go Cleveland 4-3. Toronto haven't beaten good teams. That's the problem. That might turn as they beat Cleveland a couple of times, but I don't know if they get through the series. Let's go out west. OKC versus either the Warriors or Phoenix. The big question is simply OKC. Are they healthy? If they are, do they sweep whoever they play? Yeah, probably. I guess if it's Golden State, can they get one hot Steph Curry shooting night? Can they get another one where Pods also has a good one? Yeah, I don't think they can. They'll probably get a really good Steph game, but OKC probably still just fucking choke him out. Phoenix, I guess the big question for them, if they made it, would be could their guards dictate some of these games, right? Defensively, Dylan Brooks setting a bit of the tone. I still think they get absolutely steamrolled. And really, I guess the big one for OKC outside of health and stuff, like how good's J-Dub? SGA, can he just drop 40 every game? The big one for me is will Chet just eat either of these teams alive? Chet up against the Zinger or Chet up against Mark Williams. Chet, I think, fucking eats. So, yeah, I think OKC 4-zip either team. Warriors might get one. Suns, maybe. But OKC are a fucking wagon. And I think we'll see it writ large. I think, literally, as long as they're healthy, they're fucking terrifying. Right? I don't know, because you can just keep throwing dudes. You got SGA, Case and Wallace. Just throw them at Steph. Yeah, he's going to hit some shots, but he's going to have to fucking work so hard. And the same sort of thing goes for the Dylan Brooks, Devin Booker, Jalen Green combo. They've just got guards for days that can play between Caruso, Case and Wallace, AJ Mitchell. Fucking hell, man. OKC, I think the only way you're probably beating them is with a really good, dominant big dude. And that's what San Antonio and Denver do have. I don't think the Zinger, as supercharged as he might be,
Supercharged Zinger Burger
is that dude right now. And Phoenix is definitely not Mark Williams. OKC, 4-zip either team. 2-7 in the West. San Antonio versus Portland. The big question is Wemby. Wemby. If he's healthy, they fucking smash him. Klingon and Time Lord, though. I guess the big question there for Portland is, can they bang him around? Can they push him off his spots? They're big dudes. They're hefty. And really, can they make Wemby work and work and work? Because we have seen these games where, not really in the last couple of months, but before that, if you were just able to like stymie Wemby a bit, you'd give yourself a bit of a shot. The big problem is the second question is, can Portland then score enough to actually take advantage of that on the Spurs D? And that's my big worry. Because Portland's defense is really good, but offensively you can really see the cracks in them, right? It's a really fun matchup. All the perimeter dudes, Kamara, Aussie Matty T, Drew Holiday. But I feel like the perimeter offense of Portland probably isn't quite mature enough, old enough, good enough to give the Spurs a real run for their money. Like Giroux versus Castle is going to be fun as fuck, but you've still got De'Aaron Fox. You've still got Dylan Harper. You've got Keldon Johnson, Devin Vassell, Black Falcon, Harrison Barnes. And like the Blazers have got Jeremy Grant, Shaden Sharp. Love him, but he's coming back from an injury. Denny's going to be awesome. But Denny's going to be driving into the teeth of a defense that has a 7'40" fucking French alien in the middle of it. So, yeah, that's it. So, I guess Portland's defense, can they slow down the Spurs offense? Can the big fellas slow down Wemby? But really, can Portland score enough on the Spurs defense? And I just don't see it. So, I think Spurs probably 4-1. I reckon Portland might be able to pull one out of their ass, but yeah, I think it's going to be real. Like, it's a fun matchup. All the perimeter stuff. As I said, Fox, Castle, Vassell, Keldon Johnson, Wemby, whoever they run, like Black Falcon versus like this sort of litany of perimeter guys that Portland can throw out. They have Giroux, Kamara, Aussie Matty T. They're big dudes for Wemby. It just feels like if Scoot Henderson was like really, really in the Scoot ascendancy, I'd feel better, but he's not quite there yet. And like that's the thing. I don't know if their offense is mature enough between Shaden Sharp and Scoot Henderson. I reckon next year might be the one where we go, look out. 4-1 Spurs. 3-6 in the West. Denver, Minnesota. Big question simply for me is the health of the Minnesota offense and their players. Ant-Man, Jaden McDaniels. Everything revolves around that. Because if they're not 100% ready and raring to go, they're fucked. And I'm worried. Because I don't know if they are going to be 100%. Right? So you can have Christian Brown out there on Ant-Man. You've got Jamal Murray who's got size as well to go up against Ant. It's pretty fun. You've got Watson. You've got Cam Johnson. You've got Aaron Gordon. Defensively, the Nugs know what they're going to be doing. But if Ant-Man and Jaden McDaniels are super duper fucking healthy and ready and raring to go, look out. Like, Minnesota will fucking be on one. I just don't know if they're there. Because the big question, the other big one is obviously Jokic versus Gobert. Like, how Jokic deals with defensively, I think is the big thing for Jokic. How often they're going to target him, dribble handoffs as Ant-Man goes at him and shit. How does Jokic deal with this? Is he going to be okay? They've got Bruce Brown now again, so they've got that Swiss Army knife coming off the bench. Tim Hardaway Jr. for a bit of offensive pop. If Cam Johnson can hit threes, that's always going to be a massive question for this Denver offense. His defense, fine. Threes, if they go, you're laughing. And Aaron Air Gordon's health. That's always going to be the biggest thing for Denver, right? If he's 100%, it's hard to go against them. He's looked pretty good. Give him another week off like they've just copped. I feel okay about him at the moment. You've got Jamal Murray. If he can put up numbers against this Minnesota defense, maybe. AO now coming off the bench is a fucking fun wild card for Minnesota. Naz Reid. This series should be awesome. It should be. Ant-Man, Jaden McDaniels, if they're ready and raring to go. I'm just saying, let's go 7. I'm going to say Denver in 7 because that's all they do. Seriously, I think what is it out of Jokic and Jamal, whenever they've played together in a playoff series, it's either gone 7 games or they've won it already. I think all bar 1 series, which is fucking crazy. So I'm going to go Denver. That is a great fun matchup though. Jokic versus Gobert. Julius Randle in there causing sort of, a bit of havoc, but you've got Air Gordon to check him. You've got size on both sides. It's awesome. But so much of it just hinges on whether or not Ant-Man and Jaden McDaniels are good to go because that's the defense for Minnesota. So much of it hangs on them. And then 4-5, Lakers, Houston. Woo boy, no Luka, no Reeves. Houston, no problems. Houston's offense, simply, can they just avoid the fourth quarter fucking meltdowns against the Lakers defense, which has been so junky, but very effective randomly for the last couple of months? Marcus Smart, LeBron, Jake LaRavia, DeAndre Dominatin, Vando. I don't know, man. This is losing, 60 points a game from your team is fucking hard. No wild insights there. It's just very difficult. Will they blitz the Rocket guards, the Lakers, on defense? That's going to be a big question for me. Can they sort of just junk this shit up again with their dudes? Because if they do, they'll give themselves a bit of a crack. But I think there's sort of just enough, especially defensively. There's so much talent on that Rockets team that, yes, you've got Luke Kennard, Marcus Smart with LeBron James, Jake LaRavia. I just can't see them hanging with Houston though, right? Whereas Houston can roll out Amen Thompson. You're going to have KD. You've got LP Şengün up against Ayton. That's a fun one. But I just can't see them with Amen out there, Jabari Smith Jr., Tari Eason. There's just too much defense that I think Houston can hang their hat on. And I just don't think LA are going to be able to score enough to hang with them. So even if it does get a bit sideways in some of these fourth quarters, I kind of think the Lakers get one. So I think this is a bit of a gentleman's sweep. KD versus LeBron is hilarious, but so much of this is going to come down to Amen Thompson going, wait a minute, I'm going to fucking destroy all yous. That's what he does. So gentleman's sweep, Houston, 4-1. So there's the predictions for me. East, 4-3 Detroit, Charlotte, 4-1 if it's Orlando, 4-1 Boston, Philly, 4-3 Knicks over Atlanta, 4-3 Cleveland over Toronto, OKC sweep whoever they play, San Antonio 4-1 over Portland, 4-3 Denver, gentlemen's sweep Houston. Oh boy, let's do some of these game previews for those first 4 games. All right, so let's bloody well do it. We start Sunday, so we've already talked out those 2 Saturday games. We're taking Charlotte -3.5 and Golden State +3.5, the 2 road teams in the 8 seed playing games. We start the playoffs 3 a.m. on Sunday, Toronto at Cleveland. The line is 8.5. That seems a bit egregious. I'm going to take Toronto +8.5. I just sort of talked about how styles make fights and how different these 2 teams are. I feel like Cleveland probably throw some of their best looks out there for game 1. But I kind of feel like Toronto might be able to junk this up just enough to cover 8.5. Just feels like too many, right? Cleveland could easily sort of, hang on to win this by a couple of possessions, like 6 points, 7 points. I'm taking the +8.5 for Toronto. They don't beat good teams, we get it. But I feel like as long as they're healthy, they can sort of hang, especially in a game 1. So let's go Toronto. Then we've got Minnesota at Denver. Denver at the altitude. They're 6.5-point home favorites in game 1. Again, I feel like it's a few too many points. That line should probably be about 3.5, I think. It seems like that's more of a question about the health of Ant-Man and Jaden McDaniels. I think Minnesota might be able to hang in that one too. I'm going to take Minnesota +6.5 on the road in Denver for game 1, 5:30 on Sunday. I think Jokic and Jamal probably eat, but Minnesota's defense, they'll just be ready and raring to go. I think it'll be a Denver win, but Minnesota still stick with them. Atlanta, New York, 5.5-point line for the Knicks at MSG. Are you sensing a trend here? I think that's too many points. I'm taking Atlanta +5.5. I think that defensive backcourt and then the flip side, the offensive backcourt of Atlanta, the way they can sort of go both ways, it'd be really interesting against the Knicks. As long as Jalen Johnson is fully operational and flying around, I reckon the Hawks can stick with him. Let's take the +5.5 for the Hawks. And then Houston, Lakers. I'm taking the Rockets -5.5. Road favorites. I'm taking all the road teams on Sunday. So that's Toronto +8.5, Minnesota +6.5, Atlanta +5.5, and Houston -5.5. I just broke down Lakers, Houston. I just don't see enough offense out there for the Lakers to stick with Houston. Houston does have that, every so often they just fucking completely fall apart. And if they've sort of figured out, oh, wait, Reed Shepherd is really good, they'll be fine. So hopefully, fingers crossed, Houston cover that one. And there you go. So all of those picks are up on Dabble. Go check it out. You can find the link in the show description or the social bios. And that's it. That's your big weekend preview. We'll pop back up on Sunday night Sunday afternoon, hopefully. Set you up for Monday's games. Maybe talk through some of those Saturday and Sunday setups. Anything else that sort of crops up. Sound good? Good. Great. Yeah, because it's going to be a really, really awesome weekend of basketball. I'll tell you what. So, go follow us on all the socials, etc. Of course, you know what to do. What is it? Twitter, Facey, Insta, TikTok, YouTube. Get around them all. We're all over the socials. Get around Footy Unfilterated, our new AFL show as well. Went to the footy last night. Wow, did that suck. Carlton are horrible. A bunch of tins with Jez. Good time though, so yeah. What can you do? NFL Straya is always a good one too. We'll be back, Gaz and I, soon with the draft chat. And then, also, Jim does Supercoach. AFL Supercoach stuff for the rest of the season. Go jump on that. Jump around all of those YouTube channels as well. Jump in the comments. Say g'day. Tell a mate. Help us out. You know, do your thing. Speaking of helping us out, buymeacoffee.com/NBA Straya. Join the Dead Set Legends Club. Help your mate Jim keep the lights on. Big thanks always go to From Ozzo for the intro and outro song. They rule. So to House Hats, Joshua De Laurentiis, Fascinator, Gold Mines, Ramshackle Army, Iowa, Extra Green, and Dozers. They're behind all the tunes you hear throughout the show. Smash them on your music streaming platform of choice. All right, that's it. Heading into the weekend, I'll check a Cooking with Baines on the end of this one for you, just to send you off into the weekend the right way. Because it's playoffs! Playoff time, you beauty. All right, we'll catch you on Sunday, you dickheads. Here's to an awesome start of the playoffs, and here's to a great weekend. It's NBA Straya saying, look after yourselves, would you? And later, hope.